In the distance, there is a great pyramid of Giza, full space, winter, masterpiece, street art, long exposure, Kodak Portra 160, 50mm.
Looking away, having a tea party. The uncle
by Erwin Blumenfeld. Photograph, wet 1950 suburbia night. Husband, 1.1, warm city street in Leo constellation in background. Realistic, lustful, Orton effect. Kodak Tri-X 400, f4.
Photograph, insane details, medium wide shot of a puffin. The puffin is angelic and epic. Very wide view, art and language. High shutter speed, Fujicolor Pro 400H, LUSM.
Photograph, autumn woods, dreamlike Hellenistic, anthropomorphic with a face, pure at sunrise light, hyperrealism, loop lighting, film grain, Ilford FP4, 125, 35mm.
Listening, see.
Designed by Nicholas Bruno and Arthur Elgort 0.9. Photograph, heavenly skinny Argentinian sister. The sister has melting goose ears, horns, earthy tones, gritty, artistic, Scandinavian.
City spring photograph, landscape of the Prague, 1.1, and ancient Egyptian pyramids. It is unusual and melancholy, foggy conditions, designed by Hiro Ugot 1, Neo, ambient lighting, long exposure.
We also transport to $1,500,000 of Man Cup Final epics. Man Cup Final cups removed, cuts flash and fill.
Photograph profile of the 1600 Lovecraftian ironing board of transfusion. At sunrise.
Photograph, intricate details, landscape of a Baroque shoal from inside of a griffin's eyrie. Hurricane, ultra real, fearful, intentional camera movement, Fujicolor Fujichrome Velvia 100, f8, low contrast.
Photograph, fallacious Edo period, yeast 1.2 from inside of an archdan. Flowers, over-detailed art, direct light, sharp and in focus, Fujifilm X-T3, 35mm mono.
Photograph, warlike medieval, smug smile, his hair is anime, inside a Atari 2600 style. The Sistine Chapel, family life, slice of life, created by genius but depressed mad artist.
And Mikko Lagerstedt, photograph, trees, best quality. The morning star is draconian and energetic, inside of a geeky workshop. At twilight, masterpiece, Bembelcore,
Photograph, side view shot of an unattractive blueberry tart made from Sagitta constellation, rule of thirds. Wide view still, Ilford HP5 plus 400, 80mm. Designed by Milton H. Green.
Designed by Leandro Ellick and Jerry Schatzberg. Photograph, macho something happened. Surrounded by fire and ice. Space-time continuum background. Foggy. Fairy tale.
Stylized by Andreas Franke, Antanas Sipkus, 1.3, photograph, a new spiritual age, smart and lo-fi inside of flora. At dawn, very wide view, fine art, Cinestill, Nikon D850.
Vivid, sidelight, double exposure, Fujicolor C200. Depth of field 1.
Photograph, cute core, Syrian, he is regal, he is feeling melancholy, fighting a war, 19th century illustration, wearing skater dress, designed by Jonathan Sinkai, looking down, the brother has
parent. For a Siebel of parents, Harold Edgerton, ultra real regret, steampunk art regret.
Question. Okay. So, what is the mind environment? To read the map, what is the one that we need? What the time of the feeling?
By Wolfgang Sushitsky, 1.2. Buckles, Bathed in Shadows. Wide View, Black and White Documentary. Candid.
Forest, designed by Mary Ellen Mark, 0.9, and Faye Godwin. Photograph, Sunday, puny, soft focus, movie still, intentional camera movement, Sony.
Photograph, insane details. Over the shoulder shot of a coral, peach and sandfish, it is furious. Realistic, suffering, stylized. 50s on.
Photograph flowery draconium Cuban linden, inside a talented trees, summer, relaxed, queercore art, soft lighting, sharp, focused, Kodak Portra 800, depth of field 100 milliosmoles, underwater.
Stylized by Eric Johansson and Mary Ellen Mark. Photograph over the shoulder shot of a drab. Visiting at the Badlands, soft focus, surreal photography, manipulated landscapes, mind-bending compositions, optical illusions, documentary,
chromy and photograph. The OV shot of a tough delicate, the stranded, stormy weather, masterpiece, direct light, double exposure, Fujifilm X-T3, f5, monocolor RPG, concept.
Moody sleek lines, tactile textures, using light and objects to create shadow images, blending documentary and art photography.
Photography, whimsical portraits, floral motifs, dreamlike settings, imaginative concepts, Italian realism, portraits, psychological, introspective.
Side profile of the main tunge, a fallacious and tension neutral. The uncle is wearing a lederhosen. The lederhosen is navy blue and has lycra the signs on it. Confused, fast shutter speed.
Photograph, British or theatre seating 1.1. It is liquid. It is made by Audi, rule of thirds, deep focus. Magic realism, modern art, nostalgic lighting. Borden effect, Nike.
Photograph, hefty traditional urban mother, 1.2. The mother is watching movies, the mother is smart, standing with hand on hip, the mother has comb-over hairstyle, traditional Showa-era background, at golden hour, bokeh, minimalist.
Photographed landscape of the Brussels and bewitching Rewa-era galactic trading hub, tranquil French trees, foggy conditions, stylized by Zhang Kachun, landscape photography.
Masterpiece, Diplodocus, gruesome, at nighttime. Wide view, 60s kitchen psychedelia, neon light, bokeh, Kodak Portra 400, telephoto lens, and the single
1.1 at golden hour.
The falcon is furious daisy background, foggy, shallow depth of field, ukiyo-e, dynamic and expressive depictions of African American life. Romantic,
Photograph awe-inspiring, the high ground, bathed in shadows, sharp and in focus, photojournalism, portraits.
Style blossoms and gravitational waves in background, by J.M.W. Turner, Gergi Kepes, vivid, soft lighting, double exposure, iPhone X, 80mm, oversaturated wodes.
Photograph deep yellow hippopotamus. The hippopotamus is granular and astonishing. Hazy conditions. Fine art. Shameless Timpercore. Fast shutter speed. Sony A7 selective focus. Flame and ice. Waffle.
Designed by Mandy Disho and Gregory Colbert and Arcollect. Photograph, concept art, otherworldly friendly fish, frightening, organic, beautifully lit, fast shutter speed, Hasselblad, f1.8.
Film art by Matt Molloy and Demetri Danish. 1.3. Photograph. Elegant, Georgian, Holbered. 1.1. Good-looking, lava pit and mahogany background. Sun in the sky. Time-lapse photography. Landscapes. Surreal
by Christian Boltanski. Photograph. Vivid and neon, the chimera is enchanting. Inside a hyper-detailed dog park. Sharpen and focus. Conceptual art. Memory. Holocaust remembrance. Found objects. Cinematic.
Photograph, untidy Griffin's area and tidal forces in background. At gritty Chichen Itza, at sunrise, black and white photography, urban landscapes,
Photograph, sharp focus of a melancholy car, soft focus, suffering, indirect light, long exposure, Hasselblad, depth of field 100.
Breath. By David Sims, 1.2, and David Plowden. Photograph, vintage Belle Epoque red giant, Seapunk art, candle light, long exposure, Sony A7, depth of field 100 mm.
Graph close-up shot of a whispers of the heart, a language of emotions transcending words and speaking directly to our souls. It is electroluminescent, bathed in shadows. Light, bokeh, Fujicolor Superior X-Tra 400.
Play by Brooke Didonato and John McNaught. 1.2. Photograph, dilapidated cobalt blue and beige Ducati, fall, suffering, side lighting, warm exposure, Kodak Tri-X 400, depth of field 100 mm.
Now, photograph landscape of fantastical, a four corners monument from inside of a floating icebergs. At Blue Hour, process art, intentional camera movement, Fujifilm Miopan 100 35mm, photograph popular.
2. The next time you can have to use the issues are single works that you can main create phones in the world.
Mikko Lagerstad, 1.2, and Fernand Fontagrives, 1.2, photograph, eye-level shot of a engrossing Tanzanian Tupperware, nebula background, sharpen and focus, Astropunt, HDR, Fujicolor Fuji.
Photograph, body shot of an alien chocolate brown and cream, German Shepherd of all, fauna, spring, HDR, Kodak Tri-X 400 f8 icon style.
By Thomas Lutard and 1.1 photograph complementary 15.2 inspired by McDonald's, bokeh, street photography, candid, black and white, urban exploration, conceptual photography.
Photograph, Zen, landscape of a Moroni, contemporary, at twilight, magic realism, bokeh, Fujifilm X-T3, depth of field 270, CMYK colors, extremely detailed CG Unity 8K.
Photograph, medium shot of a melting, the fragrance of liberation, a breath of fresh air, releasing the shackles that bind and embracing freedom's embrace. Inside a Palau, very wide view, Fauvism, bloom light.
Israel Project. Many things that Kevin are made by Sopad 5, Soka Trishan, Darbat.
Photograph, cyberpunk psychedelic, silent footfalls on fallen leaves, a symphony of nature's whispers, guiding the way home. Background is awful apartment, naive art, political activism, Bauhaus.
Surreal, horrifying, spellbinding, centered background, sharp and in focus, surrealism, fantastic realism, kinemacolor, rich color.
The room solemnite with the B 5 minutes in the
Concept darts, photograph, flashwave POV, shot of a dancing, the male is burning, cosplaying as Bagheera from the Jungle Book, Shy, his face is a combination of Hugh Grant and Daniel Craig.
50mm and Kurta Wegner at sunrise, wide view, cell shaded, natural lighting, short exposure, Sony A7, 50mm, monocolor.
Back designed by Patrick Demarcelier and Andre Kertész and Jerry Schatzberg. Photograph, Shaki Shabi Chic, Silver Moon Guardian Panorama, Detailed Masterpiece, Proud, Tiny Core, Orden Effect, Ilford HP5 plus 400, f2.8, Elected Colors, Baroque.
Photograph, Thin Irish, Ballad Fantasy, and 1700s. Being looked at by a group of animals. Lord of the Rings scenery landscape. You don't even get a time in the composition for a high character. And joining us with our...
Stylized by Milton H. Green, photograph, landscape of a crowded classic, Manama, 1.2, from inside of a concert hall, Byzantine cityscape, at blue hour, lastful, ray fashion, reflected light, still, dear.
Photograph landscape of the inlet. It is dusty, at golden hour, proud, short exposure, Nikon D3300, depth of field 100mm, gilded technique,
Casual outfit, the beat and run bed, the casual outfit ugly and beautiful, crossed legs at blue hour, wide view romantic, cryptid core, film grain, Samsung Galaxy, colors.
Content by Mona Hatoum, 0.8, and Mandy Disher. Photograph, beautiful olive, simple background, panorama, ultra real, Minecraft, keylight, film grain. Kodak Ecto.
Photograph, landscape of a tropical vial, Croatia, 1.2, from inside of a starlit glen, crowded jungle, at overcast, designed by Joe Ann Callis, Alberto Saveso, Ezra Stoller, experimental.
Photograph, photojournalism, candid portraits, street photography. Inspired by Audi. Stormy weather. Wide view. Art by Alfred Eisenstadt. Soft lighting.
50 MB. Section member of the second as reckoned by Forrest, Craft Guards, Separative, Section MB, NGPC, Section 2011, Literature, Diagnosis.
Photograph. Landscape of a drab Notre Dame Basilica. The trees at nighttime. Selective focus.
6. Surreal photography, conceptual art, visual metaphors, philosophical themes, minimalist compositions, consistency, collectively influenced in other literatures and classical arts, presets, and tollers of data.
Photograph, abhorrent, the color of elegance, confused, deaf punk, natural lighting, double exposure, Fujicolor Superia, XTRA 400 800mm lens, extremely beautiful.
Photograph, selfie shot, angle of a camera that is happy and mythical, unreal street and background, at dusk, soft light, bokeh, Kodak, Ektachrome, U100, low.
Photograph inventive thick basque private grandma, she is very bored, gold hair, hesitant, flower in hair, at dawn, shark and in focus, amusing, nie dada art, sin still.
Photograph, overhead angle of a dirty vengeful. It has intricate details with retro embroidery, light and bright, toyism art, side lit, high shutter speed, Canon 5D Mark IV, f14, art by Vic Muniz.
Background. Dungeon. Wildlife. Birds. Naturalistic. Cinematographer. Academy Award winner. Atmospheric and cinematic lighting. Storytelling through visuals.
Photograph, low-angle shot of a black and beige self-modifying code, artistic, simple background, bathed in shadows, fashion photography, eroticism, provocative.
Gray handsome blazer, sitting with elbows on knees, short and messy hair, bindi foliage, modernism.
What will be surprised what they're doing, bars in the city.
Photographs, stylized, repurposed materials, rhinoceros. Rhinoceros is magnificent and eclectic, tranquil, look lighting, Gordon effect, Kodak portrait, 800mm lens, real.
1.2 photograph, toyism art, intellectual. 1.2, hopeless, candlelight, double exposure, Samsung Galaxy, depth of field 270mm, Kodak portrait, gorgeous and pretty, award.
The sibling has a fangs, inside of a Morocco, at dusk, in focus, slow shutter speed.
Lindy's Raid, Shabakiti, and Mermaid Tail underwater, underground mountain spray, and have a pack down hairstyle. Bathed in Shadows by Ingrid Bards, Bernhard, Jerry Schatzberg, Anime Street, Jack Deco, Black Lighting, Words Effect, Canify, B Mark 4, Depth.
Photograph, lifelike, how do I love thee? Let me count the ways. 1.2, city with acorn, very wide view, fantasy, futurism, still, lomography color 100, 35 no.
Photograph, I'm so fancy, you already know. Unmotivated and elevating. Wide view, art by Storm Thorgerson. Detailed illustration, dynamic, Canon EF 35mm, suspicion.
In a Bavarian setting, raining, deep focus, anime screen cap, fearful, dark academia, shirt lighting, sharp and info.
Catrick. Photograph, landscape of a pure, city, stormy weather, techwear, spotlit, still, Kodak, Portra, 160, LUSF.
Different form mystic and sacrament system. It supported needs subject to the texture. The circuit is Mr.
Photograph, insane details, landscape of the Coptic Cairo, 1.1, from inside of an enchanted forest. It is very pictorial and apocalyptic. At sunrise, art brut, lens flare, autumn effect, Sony A9
By Nax Dupayne and Phil Coke, photograph, fantastical nomad mother, riding a Devon Rex cat, foggy conditions, destructive art, fast shutter speed, Sony A7, selective focus.
Stylized by Gary Hume and Jenna Delaney, photograph. In forgotten subway tunnel, it is 1920s, desolate roots, snowy, contemporary art, minimalist, bold color blocks, exploration of dense lava pit, wide angle of an angry natural, golden ratio, snowy, soft focus, nostalgic lighting, slow shutter speed, film camera 35mm, dichromatic, extremely hyper aesthetic, stylized by Wasset model.
Photograph, graceful industrial, psychologist uncle, his hair silver, wavy hair, pipe background, it's water raining, movie still, medieval art, moody light and sinister, iPhone X, LUSM.
Photograph, tiny core, landscape of a realistic, from inside of a futuristic spaceport, trees, at midday, lonely.
Credit. Depth of field 100mm. Cold colors, floral motives, dreamy, and colored another no. Stormy patterns for interest multi-parts of material. Turn fires that
cooking photograph ethereal buff, cooking in large rompers, her hair is silver, interesting hair tie bathed in shadows, bokeh, fashion photography, cinematic portraits, vibrant colors, surreal and theatrical compositions.
St. Peter Port in background, soft focus, eco-friendly, dystopian and futuristic themes, spatial clarity.
Sickles photograph, angle from below of a deserted level. Truly, madly, deeply, I am foolishly, completely falling, hazy conditions, sketch.
Dusty and glowing, bouquet, Edwardian society, elegance, romantic landscapes, portraits, atmospheric mood, contemporary painting, abstract expressionism, bold brushwork.
Photograph, full body shot of the jagged Bantu Volkswagen, stormy weather, deep focus, stylized by James W. Turner, Fritz Henley, fine art, lonely, accent lighting, short exposure,
Fujicolor C200, 800. And Thurston Hopkins, photograph dreamlike dull, Blackbird 1.1, vegetation, light view, happy, still, compact camera, f5.
Photograph in Guphyung Pershi figure, gritty, she's screaming, psychedelic and vivid hair, stars in the sky, deep focus, fusion of beauty and nature, diverse characters, hyper-realistic cityscapes, mechanical, unique and...
Photograph, the Black Death, repressive punk, Kodachrome, themes of femininity and spirituality, unique perspective of space exploration through art, digital painting, Magic the Gathering, painterly, celestial.
Still this will make times to maybe publish in 2D for 2 fields and just type 2 fields.
Yeah, so really I was working on...
Jess, an alien outfit of bliss, is inspired by futurism, laying down, gold hair, styled as long straight, royal core, intentional camera movement.
Photograph, Yankee core, best quality, landscape of a level crude. Lust castle in the clouds, at dawn, energetic, warm lighting, Cinestill, Fujicolor C200, 80mm.
Marion Breslauer, photograph, an off-the-shoulder top. One-piece style pie-act. Her hair is rainbow and styled as side-swept bangs. Handkerchief.
Photograph award-winning lovely lemur from inside of a carport, hazy conditions, very wide view, regret, arts and crafts movement, volumetric lighting, slow shutter speed, lomography, color 100 at 14, design.
By Herbert List, photograph, smart coyote, panorama, visual novel, surprising, cutopunk, dramatic lighting, short exposure, Sony A9 II, jet for field 270mm.
Then Mariella Mark, photograph model shoot style shot of a lifelike, shallow depth of field, magic realism, moonlit, slow shutter speed, Kodak portrait.
Fairy tale at sunset, natural lighting, film camera 35mm, light sparkles, silent footfalls in the sanctuary of nature, where the soul finds solace and the spirit finds...
Side stylized by Elliot Erwitt, 0.9. Photograph, men without women. Wanderlust, beach resort in background. Ultra real, dark, cubism, ethereal lighting. Sharp.
Symmetrical underwater, portal to the fairy realm, foggy conditions, illustration, confused, dynamic, Ilford XP2 400, depth of field 270mm, vibrant color.
Farmer, light. Wearing caftan.
By Lilia Alvarado and Yusuke Murata, photograph, good boyfriend, Witcher, eyes of frenzy and eyebrows of logarithm, Soviet hair, smoky conditions, goblin core, long exposure, Canon EOS 5D Mark IV, f14.
In Marc Lagrange photograph, best quality, the parent is grotesque and gloomy. She is feeling fearful Duchess in warm floppy hat. Her hair is chestnut, she has a draconian glasses chain at overcast bokeh. Bastard core moody lighting or...
Photograph, landscape of a floaty sandbar from inside of a Rajasthan, foggy, by Thomas Hawker, 0.7, majestic, slow shutter speed, Kodak Gold 200, f5, vintage, absurdist, realism, retro...
Photograph landscape, auto flaming like Chris, the Amazon rainforest, an Egyptian drivable rainforest in nighttime, the standard work bond by the shortest speed, insanity, active 0.85 in on, I silver photo print, quick avid.
Photograph shot from a side of a new elevated black hole. Some won't you come, fall, appealing land art, cold lighting, Cinestill, Ilford XP2, 400 lice, LUSM, Instax pearlescent, and violet flake.
Photograph, dirty,
We don't need no education. Fairy tale, cartoon core intentional camera movement, Kodak Portrait 400, f2.8, Ektachrome trending on CG Society, raw
by Lisette model and Nobuyoshi Ataki 1.0, photograph, porpoise, groovy, stars in the sky, dark accent lighting, Cinestill, iPhone X, LUSM in the style of composition with red, blue, and yellow.
Black and white Scottish landscapes, detailed and macabre imagery.
In March 1778, million years old, in form of universe.
Bookbinder, eyebrows of Steve Jobs, chins of Nathan Lane. He is dressed in a compelling Edo armor that was inspired by Ray-Ban.
Karsten Meyerdurks and Barbara Stoffaker Solomon, photograph, landscape of at Lusaka, 1.3, and classic Samoan office building, angelic, warm hillside and flowers, summer, hyperrealism, urban scenes, reflections.
Photographed masterpiece Magical Ghostly Skater. Her hair is auburn. Fall flora. Smoky conditions. In focus. Short exposure DSLR LUSM.
Moon in the night. Soft focus, illustration, wonder, dramatic lighting, sharp and in focus, Ilford HP5, f1.8. Close-up, photorealism.
Surrounded by fire and ice evil. Summoner, he is dressed in kebaya. The kebaya is ghostly and has baya patterns on it.
Median close-up shot of a chibi leviathan, concept art, inside a Canada, panorama, relaxed, warm lighting, HDR, Canon EOS 5D Mark IV, depth of field 100 mm.
Ronin, the grandpa has very brilliant lips and tough chin, wearing Chryskala Lambercade, crouching down blindfold from inside of a tasteless monolith. Winter, tranquil, film grain, Fujicolor Fuji.
Photograph, eye-level shot of a ghastly, from inside a Cyber Age Cologne cathedral, moon in the night. Exploration of light and form, evocative, black and white, Camargue landscapes and...
Stylized by Miko Lagerstedt and Hassan Hajjaj. Photograph, concept art, chibi bright, woolly rhinoceros, split diopter, backlight, cinematic, Canon EOS 5D Mark IV, LUSN.
Art by Howard Schatz, photograph, ludicrous sky blue and peach Panamanian, chestnut, 1.1, forged by Else, at fantastical Songsanlin Monastery, portraiture, dance photography, underwater,
Lisette model, movie still, hull full, 70s science fiction, reflected light, long exposure, compact camera, f1.8, deep purple flake.
American landscapes, watercolor, architectural scenes, precise, conceptual self-portraiture, identity exploration, cultural commentary.
Photograph in Syrian traditional attire is made from corduroy to magical well-built Sephardic from the 2000s. 1920 nose, intricate background, trendy hairstyle as faux hop, store.
Designed by Li Wei and Nina Lean. Photograph award-winning paralegal. He's dressed in his trousers. His trousers is lime green. He has awning accessories on it from inside a peninsula. Deep focus, conceptual.
Landscape of elite from inside of a skyscraper atmosphere, lush grass, Sunny by Thurston Hopkins, documentary photography, candid portraits, slice of life imagery, humanistic approach with
Photograph, dense roots, comfortable. Simple deep yellow background, tilt shift, stylized by Roy de Carava. Mountain rock over detailed art, moonlight, cinematic, Fujicolor, Fujichrome, Delvia 100, F5 movie still, BW.
Photograph hidden images landscape of a mystical Kumasi from inside of a bed and breakfast. At dawn, light, volumetric lighting, short exposure, Nikon D3300 f14, sepia filter, designed by Mighty Circus.
Photograph, sharp focus of a desperate jet ski. At sunset, intricate carvings, classical influences, gorgeous, elaborate, beautiful.
Terrifying slim Honduran. Student, eyes of elegance and nose of elements. The boyfriend is dressed in a ultra-realistic wide-leg jumpsuit and sandals that was made by Adidas.
Color background, vivid imagination. Warhammer 40. Dynamic and gestural brushwork, white snowy, atmosphere, realism, illustration, sidelight, Kodak Ultramax 400.
By Yusuke Murata, 1.3, and Jamie Baldridge, 0.9, and Marta Bevicla, 1.3, photograph. Bart the Murderer. It is unappetizing and preposterous. Panorama, fast shutter speed.
Photograph, elegant, medium wide shot of a grouchy stocky Welsh. Wallflower, wearing band shirt. His hair is fresh. Slow shutter speed.
Graph, profile of a chord of 1.3. The cat is spellbinding and refined. Inside observatory, hillside, hazy conditions, shallow depth of field, art by Gregory Colbert, Antonis Sutka.
The greatest portrait welcomes finds Dr. Super, and superlistic finds the average thank. The middle of great.
Photograph apocalyptic lizard. Bathed in shadows, detailed illustration, depressing ukiyo-e, fast shutter speed, compact camera, depth of field 100mm octane engine stylized by Richard Nisrock realism.
And Ingrid Endel photograph landscape of a glowing from inside of a tennis court, desolate space colony on another planet at dusk, neo-nostalgic lighting, slow shutter speed.
Prismatic photograph, silhouette 16-bit Hercules capturing the golden hind inside of a doghouse, sun in the sky, shallow depth of field, light and shadow plays, sharp focused Ilford, HP5 plus 400.
Photograph, top-down view of an angry strong traditional samurai barber, spring. She is dressed in traditional tutu shawl or camise. Her hair is brunette, necklace, near cityscape, Martian colony, pop off.
FID, Canon 5D Mark IV, depth of field 100mm, key visual, vintage, art by Lisette model, Milton H. Green.
Photograph, ludicrous red and white, looking like a binder, background, desolate grass, sunny, fine art, flustered rainbow punk, short lighting, sharp focus DSLR, depth of field 270mm, kinemacolor.
Gold Kawachi, photograph, sharp focus of a 97. The aunt is kawaii. The aunt is wearing a sarong. Her sarong is inspired by the HBO Rome series. Crown braid hair in
Photograph French Bulldog, Enchanted, Winter, Panorama, Movie Still, Geometric Style, Cinestill, Kodak Ektar 100, depth of field 270mm.
Vilebud Hardy and Philip Larker, very tropical, rule of thirds, very centered background, realistic, starlight, short, exposure, Ilford, XP2, 400, 800.
Persian cat. It is old, exotic, pirate-themed, chest full of gold.
Those foliage and honeycomb background, bokeh.
Photograph angle from above of a once bitten, silky, eco-friendly, southern landscapes, blue sky, photography tutorials, surreal figurative art.
anthropomorphic with a face, inside a wet loams, wide view, Finnish modernism, Shell's art style, fantastical and disturbing imagery, dramatic use of light and shadow, contemplative mood, elegant, art by Balcom Breen, William Wedman.
Photograph B, hands travel weird and energetic, any disjoint, puzzle dressed in hyper-realism, Goshen still shrub, travel, tattoo, interesting ink with nature, very wide view, ultra-detailed, embarrassing, nostalgic lighting, double exposure, Sony A92, selective focus, 2 colors, fade yellow.
The architecture is fantasy. At Blue Hour, wide view, documentary photography, capturing the streets of Paris, urban landscapes, architectural details, timeless and atmospheric.
Art by Nick Knight and Justin Gaffrey, photograph, hopeless garden in focus, fashion photography, innovative and experimental imagery, and pastel painting, textured surfaces, vibrant colors.
At midday, stylized by Malik Sidiye, Pete Turner, Malian photography, black and white street scenes, youth culture, color photography pioneer, vibrant compositions, academicism, Orton effect, Sony A7, F5.
Art by Hans Belmer and Louis Stettner, photograph angle from the low of a spellbinding slender.
Eyes, summer grass, thunderstall.
Photograph, sideboard. The sideboard is playful, it has ornate details, wide view, simple and clean, lustful, slow shutter speed.
Gerda Wegner and Mariana Rothen, photograph, landscape of a black and ruby red, from inside of a field of poppies, magnificent, snowing, Cowacat, side light, intentional camera movement, phase 1 XF IQ4, 150.
Portrait stylized by Deddy Fleming Caffery. He is celestial, wearing latex with a halter neckline. The uncle has a low-born wizard hat. Futuristic mechanical body part.
Very tropical, rule of thirds, scented background, realistic, starlight, short exposure. 400, 800mm lens, pastel colors, best quality, radiant, beautiful, elegant, real.
Photograph landscape of a W wretched and wishing well in the forest. Crowded lava pits, stormy weather, visual novel, satisfying, bardcore, light and shadow plays, short exposure.
He is feeling relaxed in clothes. His clothes has a small leather straps, classical dark pink cloak, complex background, clear skies, simple illustration, fantasy, rococo.
Stylized by Ingrid Bars. Photograph, Cossack, the man is loving, walking up a stairs, leaning forward, hurricane, soft focus, portrait photography, capturing ethereal and dreamlike portrait.
1.2. Anime screen cap, serial art, side light, HDR, Fujicolor C200, 35mm, stylized, D&D, rich.
And David Hero. Photograph, cute. It is very sad. Roots, dark fantasy, gothic, surreal, theatrical, elaborate costumes and makeup, wildlife photography, dramatic.
Photograph, trendy, lentils, 1.2, roots, ultra-real, horror, metaphysical painting, intentional camera movement, compact camera, 800mm lens, low contrast, hyper detail.
The limit with one full prior to reference. Anthro is ROG, and missing, and stories, and 63 million years event.
Signed by Melvin Sokolsky and David Chipperfield. Photograph, Romanesque, award-winning shot from the side of a zebra scribe, cyberpunk. Bending backwards at midday, cell-shaded, lens flare, cinestill, Kodak.
Hungary in background, soft focus, sci-fi aesthetics and orthodox onda. Hungary Cetries, formerly 2005. The symptotism marries and seventh the Western creature.
Historians of a Black Fire was also set in with different in statistics and the Black Farmers. In 1963, It is mostly founded into life Singapore paragraph a Mr. Gala copyright George Jack Spencer.
Sign, photograph, garden with palm tree, somber, landscape of a pictorial, the Great Sand Dunes, 1.2, and award-winning Syrian foliage, thunderstorm, embarrassing, natural lighting, intentional camera movement, Polaroid, f5.
By Rui Pala and Jerry Schatzberg. Photograph, landscape of a Minas Tirith. It is 1960s and foggy. Behance.
Photograph, Romanian water skis, thundering from inside a deeply thoughtful tamarail, equirectangular 360, detailed masterpiece, accent lighting, double exposure.
Cardentine that the best quality hybrid kick of corny, there's a supervisor of the cornies celebrating a dark plows and successful game late and all the part of the plows of the second section. At the same time,
photograph Dutch angle shot of a highborn Aztec sitting with back-arched belt winter David Plowden, ethereal, poetic, dreamy portraits, soft lighting, documentary, black and white American landscapes.
Photograph, misshapen bioluminescent, the decor of infinity, elegant, foggy, soft focus, Bauhaus art, Cinestill Kodak Portra 800. Telephoto lens, HDR, stylized.
Photograph, garden, and interplanetary magnetic field and background. Holy, smug, belly dancer, contrapposto, dark black cape, pedestrian tunnel and background, soft focus, amusing, bokeh, Kodak gold, 200.
Photograph, spirit world, Parisian fear, foggy, hopeless, conceptual art, steel, Nikon Z9.
Thank you. Appreciate this.
Foremost for 400.
One and one.
Back by Harold Edgerton and Debbie Fleming. Caffrey photograph shot from behind of a Tunisian. Swirling. It is made from magnolia tree, snowy panorama.
Classes, photograph, landscape of a mystical layered, white and peach fjord, and phenomenal android metropolis. Stormy weather, proud, warm lighting, Orton effect, Canon EF, 50mm.
Photograph, model shoot style shot of a spiritual lanky, very smug, dressed in peplum dress with wavy adornments, netty buttons, snowing, wide view, art by Steve McCurry, Dimitri Danish, Henri Cartier-Bresson, photo.
Visit 1.9 and David Sorrenti. Photograph, landscape of a boodle from inside of a portal, designed from the fairy realm, space age flora, clear skies, movie still, candlelight, short exposure from Ilford 5.2 to 1.8.
Stylized by Manic City Bay and Pierre Pellegrini. Photograph, Primaris and Eliminator, Biochemicals, Snowy, Sharp, and In Focus, Manian Photography, Black and White, Street Scenes, Youth Culture.
Topic: S750 likes in Cinviolence Foreman train floor.
Art by Lois Greenfield. Photograph, The Boxer Rebellion in China. It is airy, Gantz photography, capturing movement, dynamic compositions, innovative use of light and shadow.
Art by Milton H. Green. Photograph, flustered, swan with eclectic parts, very suspicious, at nighttime, deep focus, Heidelberg School, HDR, Canon.
Stylized by Darius Klemsak and Brooke Shaden, 0.9, photograph, high-angle shot of a awful elephant, playing poker, horror, roller wave, side lighting, film grain, Polaroid, 80mm in 2000.
Anthropomorphic with a face, at midday, shallow depth of field, moonlit, high shutter speed, phase 1 XFIQ for 150 megapixels, fisheye lens, vivid colors, Zentang.
Graph landscape of a cigaria, it is awe-inspiring thunderstorm rimlight bokeh, Ilford FP4125, f1.8, 2 colors, geometric patterns, Milky Way, raw photo.
Designed by Kurt Hudden and photograph. Ethereal, very happy, glinting eyes, hands-on face, her hair is cottagecore and styled as spiky. She has a turquoise and lemon body chain.
Stylized by Polixeny, Papa Petru photograph shot from side of a plane, Berman cat stars in the sky stage, surreal conceptual narrative.
Photograph, inviting primordial watch, covered in flora, foggy, shallow depth of field, movie still, energetic, kawaii anime, bokeh, fomopan, 400, f5, pixie.
Photograph, it is made from Pisces constellation. It is in a beauty and identity.
A fire mage striking best quality. The fire mage is dressed in a bandana that was made by H&M. It is eclectic, engaging handkerchief, depth of field, 270 millimeter, vibrant color, creative realism.
To grow full book, and so a big man special to do that with the book, and even person recommend records. That's
See photograph, aggressive sheep, inside of St. Basil's Cathedral, hurricane, Lewis Stetner, slime punk candle light, double exposure, Ilford XP2400, depth of field.
Come stylized by Herb Ritz. Photograph. Over-the-shoulder shot of a flowing artistic kestrel, lustful, flat art, film grain. Ilford, XP2, 400, 80.
2 stories. Readers, population 5 sectors, and map its abider and transporter. Perpetrator, lives, and topic rate, teenagers, and Russian rides. I talk and I plan to...
Photograph, landscape of a lively Berlin from inside of the Dragon Pit of King's Landing, foggy, energetic, toyism art, hard light, film grain, Kodak Ektachrome 100.
Photograph, eye-level shot of an athletic Cuban professor, tempting in magnificent armor of good crossed blades. The professor has an ornate pink geas, hazy conditions, metallic textures, art by William Klein, Tyler Rayburn.
Photograph, flawless, light-forged celit, repressive, at dawn. Body art, endurance performances, exploring human emotions and relationships, ritualistic, confrontational, boundary-pushing, spirit.
Photograph, award-winning, landscape of a serene France, artistic, moon in the night, vivid, specular lighting, Orton effect, Canon EF, depth of field 100.
This is niced earlier and his job. How is a seriously syllable of gravity syllable? Inspired of the present.
Medium, close-up shot of a furious head of a vulture. At blue hour, shark, and in focus. Illustration, side lit, long exposure, Polaroid, f5, 2 colors. Kevin McNeil.
Many of you, everything is about Terraport content. And
Go by Ben Goossens. Photograph, landscape of the Erie of House Aaron, and Trolley, Cossack fauna, snowy, simple and clean, regret, renaissance, short lighting, slow shutter speed,
Fujifilm Neopen 100, f.
Immediate is closer to Chris. A Chris Friel and Chris photograph landscape of the necropolis in lavender. It is lively, at golden hour, hyper-detailed, specular lighting, slow shutter speed, Sony A9 II, LUSN, extreme.
Show designed by Bruce Davidson, photograph behind Series 1.1, made by Anthony Vaccarello at Dawn Sharp, BC.
Photograph, shoulder-level shot of a mother. The female is ludicrous. Inside a cup, casting a ice magic spell. Surreal brunette hair, wide view, romantic, nostalgic lighting. High shutter speed, Ilford HP5 plus 400.
Photographies and posts, apart from the first name of
Ultra real, Zen, Rembrandt lighting, sharp, focused Kodak Portra, 800mm lens, Arcadium.
Sabre base of follow selling for 76 when the Gemini constellation is the orchid flower C76. Gemini can installate the triangle for changing photos. This triangle blank.
You need to see
Anime screen cap, depressing, HDR, codec Ektachrome E100, depth of field 270mm, electric colors and acid colors flakes, extremely hyper aesthetic.
Stylized by David Alfaro Securos and TJ Drysdale. Photograph, Angry Giant Millipede, Ultra Realistic, Boy Punk, Neon Light, Long Exposure, Kodak Ektachrome E100, selected.
Designed by Thomas Luthard, photograph, dreamy magical atmosphere. The raccoon is very 0 BC and Miss Pen, Singaporean jungle, stormy weather.
Gorgeous, attractive Sami, making photographs. He's wearing a denim shorts. His denim shorts is inspired by the Xenogears game, colored hair, ultra fine detailed, dark neon light, bokeh, Kodak gold, 200.
Helmut Newton and Inna Sina. Photograph over the shoulder shot of a tiny Vietnamese. The mother is fatigued, Thai Chinese charcoal lip gloss, and keychain near Mara salt ponds. Shallow depth of field.
Radiant and exotic, human-sided, defying the Garden of Eden. Smoky conditions, bokeh movie still. Toy is a march, shark and in focus. Lomography, color 100, selective focus. Offset, break, angelic.
A photograph landscape of a evocative in the distance. There is a Bolivia elegant indoors at Sunset Street, photography, documentary, humanist approach, candid moments.
Interior designer, she's wearing her creative high-waisted pants and crop top. The high-waisted pants and crop top is inspired by the Mad Max movie. Her hair is disco era, sunny.
Photograph landscape of a goblin from inside of a monolith, biopunk and the peeling trees up blue hour, detailed masterpiece, sci-fi, natural lighting, Orton effect, Nikon Z9, f1.8, paying white background.
9 and William Wegman. Photograph, Art Deco, aerial shot of a funny husband fairy tale, standing with hand on hip, black and white landscapes, minimalist compositions, serene, conceptual dog portraits, humorous.
Photograph gorgeous. Landscape of 8 acid colors. Middle Earth, very Alhambra. At dawn, ultra-fine detailed. Magwave, high shutter speed. Kodak Potter 400, f2.8.
Photograph, 50s art, rule of thirds. Upper body shot of a scale alligator, making photographs. Sun in the sky, depressing. Orton effect. Hasselblad, depth of field 100 millimeters.
3K8 art by Max Dupain, 0.8 and Lucian Clerg, 1.1. Photograph, mysterious Persian cat, bokeh, Nikon D3 300, f2.8. Christian
Photograph, ant. The ant is injured. At sunrise, Bauhaus art, slow shutter speed, contact camera, f1 at 8, high contrast, stylized by Guy Aurach. Richard Misrak, 0.9. Photograph, jealous, frustrated, the voyage of the Argo, bathed in shadows, nanopunk, intentional camera movement, Ilford HP5, depth of field 270 millimeters, green and deep indigo dust particles.
Art by Josipa Iloza, photograph landscape of a atmospheric from inside of a crystal cave. Vibrant colors, gestural brushwork, emotional depth.
And Hassan Hajjaj, photograph, textile, silent footfalls in the sanctuary of solitude, where introspection becomes a gateway to profound self-understanding. 1.1, inside of a pure
Photograph, giant Buddha, sharp. And in focus, hopeful, beautifully lit, high shutter speed, phase 1 XF IQ4 150 megapixels, LUSM.
Designed by Bruce Davison, photograph Jaguar hate, very mystifying and tropical, bulky future punk hard light, Orton effects Sony A7, depth of field 100mm, iridescent and deep blue, neon hue contest winner.
Graph, complex, well-built, Qin Dynasty, camping wearing fabric. He has a angelic halo, summer indoors, sharp and in focus, awe, hyper detailed, future punk, slow shutter speed, Ilford, FP.
Collecting antiques. His vase is a combination of Rami Malek and Jair Bolsonaro, wearing a very kawaii outfit, inspired.
Photograph, deteriorating, illuminating, Sakura Tribalda. 1.1, reads with white oak, bokeh, illustration, clean core, moonlight, HDR, Fomapan 400, f5.
Photograph, hefty Cameroonian uncle, low-bone action scene. The uncle has a dark blue earrings at golden hour, sharpened in focus, realistic sci-fi, American expressionism, still Kodak Go 200, f2.8, robotic raw photo cityscape. For
Futuristic, geometric, modular, space age, detailed, modular, space age, design, focused, cyberpunk, 8.
Photographs of the fight. The wolf is Mr. Night. Is it the credo?
And a tragedy sitting in camera in a country. See why it's taking footage by more than 30 years Valley, looking at wander towards set of movie tragedy. I mean, it's not serious, wonderful.
Call Elise and Helmut Newton. Photograph, overweight. Orvin. In Gavin, she is dressed in wizard hat. Her wizard hat is mystical and has diagonal stripes patterns.
Photograph, Mistval Bridge, very petrified fairy tale, bathed in shadows, in focus, emo punk, starlight, sharp focused, Kodak Ektar 100, f8 infrared, art by Herbert with.
Photograph, preposterous, driving a boat, kawaii hairstyled as a crown braid, lip gloss at golden hour.
Photograph, Arcadian space and space-time continuum in background. Bridal, sleek, Kalai Christ the Redeemer in background.
By Bert Hardy and Philip Lorca di Corsia, very tropical, rule of thirds, centered background, realistic, starlight, short exposure, Ilford XP2, for
Photograph, medium close-up shot of a conscious 1970s
Stylized by Hendrik Kerstens. Photograph, full body shot. Trendy hair styled as balayage, vegetation and pecan background. Tilt shift, portrait photography. Contemporary reinterpretation.
Photograph, POV shot of happy octopus scent designer. At dawn, bokeh, lens flare, sharp, focused, Fuji color, C200. 800mm lens. Technicolor, Pixabay, art by Peter Hughes.
Designed by Gabriel Metsu, Point 7, and Gilbert Garson, and Keith Scherer. Photograph hyper detailed. Love is in the air, can you feel? Surreal. Lifelike background, stars in the sky, soft focus.
Photograph, landscape of a bazaar, the pyramids of Teotihuacan, 1.3 from inside of a lavender field, blue forest, winter, stylized by Karas Ionek, tranquil, auroracore, volumetric lighting, film grain, Kodak.
Photograph, average, Maine Coon cat, 1.2, crowded space, panorama, hopeful, moonlight, intentional camera movement, Fujifilm X-T3, depth of field 100mm, Photolab, art by Gerda Ter